Hello, and welcome to this introduction video on the tech deck. The tech deck has three driving concepts. It modernizes playing cards, it brings them into the 21st century. You can use it for any classic card game. Unique card game effects enhance any classic card game, creating interesting interactions and provide replayability. It's versatile and portable. The small form factor is easy to carry. Wherever you are, whomever you're with, you can enjoy gaming with the tech deck, games that are long and short, casual and serious. And finally, it's an up game platform. You can play many games with it. The family of tech deck games appeals to many different audiences and speaks to hardcore gamers, non-gamers, party settings, and family settings. On the left here, you can see an example of the tech deck with modern concepts that you'll recognize: a traditional playing card index, an inventor, related invention, the tech deck domains, and a card image and game effect. The tech deck is a game platform. There have been 18 games that have been designed with the tech deck, spanning many different genres. You can use this chart in the compendium to see the kinds of games you'd like to play, the depth of the game, what category or what genre of game it is, and the sort of group that would enjoy the game the most with. The first game in the tech deck family was Tech Grid Poker. It's a two-dimensional Texas Hold'em poker where you set up a 3x3 array of cards, a grid of cards, and then you make two poker hands from that. It falls into the classical card game genre, poker games, and there have been many, many variations of poker, and this is a unique spin on the classic poker game where you, in addition, you can make two poker hands simultaneously. The second game was Tech City. Tech City is a multiplayer, semi-cooperative city-building game for 1 to 6 players where each tech deck represents companies in an ever-expanding city that provide more and more abilities as the city grows. It falls into the tiling genre of games where the game elements are tiles and the play area expands in a freeform dynamic map as the city tiles are laid down. The third tech deck game was Tech Exchange, which is a multiplayer real-time card game where players trade cards between themselves, and every card in the tech deck represents company stocks that players trade, and as players trade card and use card abilities, the stock market can gain or lose value, and each card has abilities that players use in the two turn-based effect rounds, and then it falls into the real-time genre of games where the games have no turns and players play simultaneously in real time. Next, we have Tech Chess. Tech Chess is a two-player chess variant game where chess pieces have different abilities. It uses up the tech deck to represent chess pieces on a 6x6 board, and players start with 2 knights, 2 kings, a knight, a queen, 2 rooks, and 6 pawns that can be upgraded, and you can build pieces as well. It falls into the strategy genre of games that utilize careful planning and operations to try to achieve victory. The fifth tech deck game was Gears of Industry, which is a personalized card game where players each use a customized deck. To be clear, it's not a collectible card game nor a living card game, but it is customizable where players can customize their own deck from a fixed pool of cards, the tech deck, and each player personalizes deck to create a unique play experience. Customizable games allow players to personalize their play experience or gameplay elements, and it's a large genre of games in the gaming industry. The sixth tech deck game was Elevator Pitch. It's an impromptu party game genre and game where, and also an idea generation tool. The tech deck cards are laid out in pairs randomly, and each player then selects any pair on the table, and they think of a company that's inspired from those cards and deliver a 1 to 3 minute elevator pitch to the other players, acting as venture capitalists. Let your imagination run wild, produce a name for your company, what your company does, and how it would better the world. Then the other players get to ask questions to the person making the pitch, and then they can give a no-go or no-go funding. It fits into the party game genre, and party games are lighthearted games with a lightweight rule set. Next, Cardle is a game where players try to crack a hidden 6-digit code encoded by the tech deck cards. Players have 7 tries to deduce the secret code, and each turn players get to make an educated guess with the cards trying to deduce the secret code, and the code master can give information about the accuracy of each guess whether cards were an exact match, a value match, they're in the code but displaced or missing. It falls into the deduction genre of games that involve solving a puzzle or a mystery. The eighth tech deck game was Chronological, which is an educational game using the tech deck. It's perfect for a family setting or party game with non-gamers. Players are trying to chronologically place tech deck cards in a timeline to provide information about the key people and their inventions and discoveries and the concepts of the tech deck cards. So it fits into several genres. It's an educational genre game, it's a trivia game, and a party game. Peer-to-peer is a cooperative deck building game. It reflects the many power to the people technologies, and today peer-to-peer industries include retail like eBay and Etsy, hotel accommodations like Airbnb, file sharing like Dropbox, videos like YouTube, ride sharing like Uber, and encyclopedias like Wikipedia. People are giving power to the people. Peer-to-peer celebrates that and is a team versus team deck building game where players or teams each create a company at the start of the game and work together to fulfill market needs. And as they fulfill market customers, they can choose to score, upgrade their company, or improve their decks. So it falls into the deck building genre of game where players build personalized decks of cards in the game. And it's also a cooperative game where players work together to accomplish goals and objectives. The 10th tech deck game was called Cardoku. It's a head-to-head Sudoku game. Players divide into two teams and each command a play deck, and players and teams compete to solve a numerical puzzle on a 9x9 board where no card in a row, column, or 3x3 box can repeat a number 1 through 9. Players take turns adding card to the tableau following Sudoku placement rules, and players score points when they complete a row, column, or 3x3 box. It falls into the puzzle genre of games. It's a category of game that involves a puzzle. They're a category of game that requires some thinking during the gameplay and often deduction or logic. Puzzle games come in a variety of forms from simple to complex. The 11th tech deck game was Newsworthy, a conversational game. Newsworthy is a social game where players are investigative news hounds. Players seek articles on the internet from their smartphones, tablets, or PCs, and the game can be played in person or remotely. The topics to investigate each round are guided by tech deck cards. Some rounds have fixed categories based on the value of the card revealed. Other rounds, the topics use just the title of the tech deck card, and Newsworthy is a blend of conversational game, an investigative game, and a social game. A voting mechanic allows articles to be rated to score points, and it is a unique game mechanic because players seek information from outside of the game on the internet. It's a conversational genre game, and a type of game where players are discussing and holding a conversation about a particular topic or item of interest. Next is Card Barrage, a dexterity tower defense game. Card Barrage is a head-to-head dexterity-based tower defense game. Players or teams set up a castle and a wall represented by the tech deck cards. Players take turn lobbing, frisbee tossing, or flinging cards at each other's castles and walls represented by the cards. Players can rebuild walls as they get destroyed. You can practice your card flipping, lobbing, and flinging skills in this game of metal and dexterity. Players score points by landing attack cards on the opponent's castle and wall cards, and game ends when an opponent's castle and walls are destroyed. There are rules of how to lob, toss, and fling cards. It fits into the tower defense game genre and where players are defending their territories by obstructing enemy attackers with defensive structures. And it's a dexterity game genre where dexterity games involve hand-eye coordination and physical movement to accomplish objectives, and there are a variety of games that use dexterity. The 13th tech deck game was Prisoner's Trilemma, game theory in action. Prisoner's Dilemma is the most famous example. In game theory, two criminals are caught by the police for a minor crime. They are, however, suspected of a major crime, which, if convicted, would put them behind bars for a very long time. The police separate the two criminals and they offer them a bargain. If they betray the other, they will be released. However, if both stay silent, the police will only be able to convict them of their minor crime. If they both take the offer and they betray each other simultaneously, they'll both serve a very long time in prison. In Prisoner's Trilemma, players are presented with a variety of moral and ethical dilemmas where they have three possible choices to make, and players can choose to cooperate, betray, or compromise to make the best of a difficult situation. It's a game theoretic genre game which are games that are used to study and understand game theory. Game theory is the science of logical decision making in humans and through strategic interactions among the agents, and there are numerous game theoretic games which include Prisoner's Dilemma, Stag Hunt, Matching Pennies, Sultan's Chain Store Paradox, and so forth. The 14th tech deck game was Tricks of the Trade, which adds a unique twist to the classic concept of a trick-taking game through negotiation and trading. True to its name, players negotiate and exchange cards with each other to try to find an advantage before the tricks phase of the game. The tricks phase of the game is like other classic trick-taking games where players play rounds of tricks with a trump suit or domain, and the unique tech deck game effects on cards give players different asymmetric one-time use abilities throughout the game. The tech deck game mechanics make every game fresh and exciting. It falls into the trick-taking genre of games where a game is played in a series of tricks to be run, and there are a variety of trick-taking games, including plain, point trick, trick and draw, and multiplayer partnership trick games. Next, we have Host a Heist Dinner Party, which follows the tradition of dinner party games. It's a game meant to take place over the course of a dinner. The host explains the backstory to everyone. Loki, a thief, has stolen the Sword of Avalon. The players work together to perform a heist to return the sword to the city over the course of a dinner. Players discuss how they get into Loki's estate, get past the guard, the security guard, and bypass his security system. The players can roleplay the various characters such as team leader, safecracker, security system specialist, guard, and designated driver. It falls into the dinner party genre of games where Wink Murder was one of the first. And the first murder mystery game was Jury Box in 1937. Clue in 1948 was the first murder mystery board game. And then in the 1980s, a series of how to host role-playing murder mystery games were created. The 16th tech deck game is Paradoxical. It's an embodiment of a game theory mystery called Parando's Paradox. Parando's Paradox claims that two losing strategies, when combined in a particular fashion or even randomly, can create a winning strategy. In Paradoxical, players race to discover two Parando paradoxes. They're presented with one of two losing strategies to select from, and from those they must deduce a winning strategy. Clever use of tech deck card effects can give a player the narrow advantage that they need to reveal a Parando paradox. Put on your thinking cap and start the race. It's a tableau builder genre game whose objective is for each player to develop their own board. It contains game elements used to win the game and gives players options to explore in gameplay. During gameplay, the game elements and operations allow a player to build or evolve their tableau. Next, we have Cyber Defense, which thematically explores concepts in cybersecurity. Modern computer systems are vulnerable to cyber attacks, and there's a constant vigil to keep computer systems safe against cyber attacks through cybersecurity measures. Common types of cyber attacks include phishing, man-in-the-middle, and distributed denial of service or DDoS attacks. In cyber defense, one player plays as the hacker, the other player plays as the defender. The hacker is trying to break the defender's password, represented by the tech deck cards, and the hacker and defender clash over 3 battlegrounds to try to gain an advantage. It falls into the area control genre of games, and in this genre of games, players vie for a space or area through attacks, strength, or presence. Players use resources or forces that can be used to mustered in an area to try to gain dominance in the zone. This game is based on a game theory game called Colonel Blotto. And finally, the 18th tech deck game is called Tech Deck Legacy. Tech Deck Legacy is a legacy genre game where players play an Olympiad of 5 games selected from the family of the 17 other tech deck games, and each game in the series has a unique gameplay and outcomes that affect subsequent games. Each tech deck game has special variations from the original tech deck rules to create enhanced and unique play. It's recommended that you have a familiarity or have played the other tech deck games to get the most out of your experience with Tech Deck Legacy. Tech Deck Legacy falls into the legacy genre of games. A legacy game has the players play a series of games where the previous plays can alter the outcome of future plays of a game. So that's a summary of all of the tech deck games. I hope you'll try them out and have fun playing them and enjoy them as much as I have developing and playtesting them. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.